Hey, Justin Abel here with STL Tones. On today's episode of the Mixed Creative series, we're going to be talking about acoustic guitars. So let's get into it. So, as a generalization, I would say that there's two different main styles of acoustic guitar that are done in most music. You have, the shaker acoustic that is mostly percussive, and you hear the pick on the strings in the mix, but it's not really a melodic element so much as it is a percussive element. And then you have more of the fingerstyle guitar that is probably going to take up a lot more room. You can probably have more low end in the guitar, and there's a lot more nuance. So we'll have examples of both in this video just to see how ControlHub can handle both of those things really well. We're going to be using two different songs from the Talbot Brothers. The first song we're jumping into is called Open Sky. It's on their new album, Letters, and freaking killer song, some really cool examples in this. So let's go ahead and hop in. Okay, so here's the session for this first song. It's laid out the same way as always. Here's all the stems printed down for the stuff that we're not worrying about today. And then, so these two tracks are the main acoustic guitars that we're gonna be talking about. So I'll go ahead and play this section so that you get an idea of what it sounds like.
Baby.
So, cool vibe. You can't hear the acoustic guitars at all because I have all of the plugins bypassed. So let's change that. This is what the acoustic guitars sound like soloed. So there's two different layers happening. There's an actual acoustic guitar. And then there's a baritone acoustic guitar. So yeah, and these are pretty straight up. I can't remember what mic I used. It sounds like I was compressing probably with my Wes Audio Dione on the way in, or Dione. I actually don't know how you say it. Leave it in the comments if you know. But it's an SSL style compressor. So it sounds like I was compressing these a bit on the way in, but other than that, they're straight up right off of the mics. So let's start working on this main acoustic guitar first. This is what it did sound like in my mix. So yeah, very much that shaker acoustic that I'm talking about. On its own, it kind of sounds like, oh man, I ruined the guitar sound, but then in context, it makes a lot more sense. So let's go ahead and just bypass all of these plugins and open up a fresh instance of ControlHub. And then let's go ahead and go into the obvious one would be to go to the new F-Read ship-in pack, go to these acoustic presets. Ooh. Okay, one of these it's gonna work for sure. So the general vibe of this I like a lot. It's a little too bright. But really nice compression. I mean, like from the get-go, it already sounds like how I would want it to sound. Just gonna gain down the output a little bit. It's adding just a little too much. And then I might do another instance and just add like a little bit of color, a little bit of distortion, little something fun. I might go into the Neil Avron pack. I love these Melbourne channels. Usually I'll just cycle through because they all sound a little different. Like that sounds very good. Okay, so just taking out a couple little whistly frequencies, and then let's just drive into this section a little bit more, see what we can get. Sounding so good. So I really like this style of, you know, taking care of the main EQ and a lot of the compression of the sound of the acoustic guitar. And then once it's controlled, then you go in and do a little bit of coloring to just kind of make it a little bit more dense sounding, and, you know, kind of compete a little bit more with the stack of electric guitars that they're coming up against. So let's hear this in context. We'll bypass it. It just, yeah, instantly makes it sound super pro. So absolutely killed it on that. We can check out this baritone too. I realistically would probably just copy over the same settings as the main acoustic guitar and see where that gets us. Okay, so right away you can tell that's not gonna work. Let's turn the input gain a little bit down. Let's go to a different pack. Those do not sound how I want. Ooh, that's kind of interesting. Ooh, let's work on this one. So there's a very obvious whistle happening that I am going to take care of with the pre-EQ. And then I'm also gonna scoop out a lot of this low end. It's a baritone acoustic. It has a ton of low ends that we do not need. It's also gonna clean up the compression and drive characteristics because you're not feeding so much low end into the circuit too. So it'll make it sound a little bit cleaner and yeah, a little bit less crazy. I think that's sounding great. Let's hear these together. We'll also see what a little bit of drive does to the signal as well. Reset these EQ points. Yeah. Yep, makes those guitars compete with the electric guitars. You can hear them, they're doing their job, but it's not taking up too much room and muddying up the whole mix. Okay, so now we'll move into this wildcard acoustic guitar that this was the first time I've ever done anything like this, and I don't think I've done it since, but it worked really cool for this song, and maybe it would be a helpful trick for somebody out there. So the Talbot Brothers were staying at my studio when we were doing this record, and so every morning I would get here, and I'd come in and they're all, they're making breakfast, or they're already in the studio making noise and showing me stuff that they wrote the night before and stuff. So I got here one morning and the singer Tyler was sitting in my tracking room with his guitar plugged into an amp down really, really low. And it was just kind of like spring reverb happening, and he had his electric guitar playing. And there was something about it, and he was playing this song, Open Sky. There was something about it that just sounded so cool to me that right away I was like, that is something that we could put in the song, maybe the intro guitar. So what I did was I think I just took the room mics for the drum kit that we had up and turned them on. Maybe I pointed them toward the guitar, maybe not. So this first intro guitar sounds like this. And this is what I walked into hearing. So it sounds like an electric guitar playing into an amp turned way down in a room, because that's exactly what I heard. But something about it felt really inspiring to me. And so once I recorded that, I knew that I wanted to try something that sounded a little bit more extreme. And so we plugged his baritone acoustic into the same amp, and then I put a Strymon Big Sky before it with the spring reverb. I think it was just like 100% mix. So all the amp was doing was really heavy spring reverb. And again, probably mics in the same spot. Tyler's just sitting there. And so the mics are capturing the amp and the acoustic guitar at the same time. And this is what that sounds like. So super interesting sound that it was one of those moments that when I heard it in the room, instantly it sounded like a record to me, and something that is one of those wild card things that is kind of hard to recreate. If I heard it on a record, I wouldn't know exactly how it was done. So here's what here's what those two guitars sound like together.
Time moves on, and now I'm tied to the tracks.
Really cool. All right, and then here's the second example. This song's called Without a Doubt. It's also by the Talbot Brothers. This is off of their second album called Ghost Talker. And man, really, really cool and haunting song. Very ambient, and there is the main instrument is acoustic guitar leading it, but there's very ambient electric guitars going through the song as well. So I can play you just a little bit of it to get the vibe.
Tell me everything you're thinking. Don't hold anything back. Been so long since we had it out. Tell me what's really healthy about that.
So it's good, but the acoustic guitar feels really raw because I took everything off of it. So let's go into ControlHub. Okay, so here's the acoustic guitar soloed. So great sound. Again, this is a baritone acoustic guitar. Let's see, I'm interested. Let's go into this Lou Diaz. There is an acoustic guitar. There's a couple, okay. Wow, I really like what that's doing. Little bit more compression.
Everything you're thinking, don't hold anything.
There's still a little bit too much low end, so we're gonna go into the pre-EQ to handle that.
Me everything you're thinking, don't hold anything back.
But this is what I'm talking about. Songs like this, where this guitar is really the main driving force of the song. There is a bass guitar that comes in maybe for the last chorus or something, but this guitar is the low end of the song. And so I'm totally happy with it having, you know, around 100 hertz, pumping pretty good through the song just to move everything along. Really good. This reverb setting is really awesome. Let's crank it to hear what it's doing. So that's a really creative way that actually I've never used ControlHub like that. So we have a short chamber for the heaven preset, and you have the depth and the rate just cranked. I mean, and it makes it like a vibrato plug-in, vibrato chorus, which you see that, yeah, in the notes, C1 chorus and vibrato. It really gives the guitar a special thing. Yeah, well done. That's really cool. Yeah, and even just having it mixed in 5% does a lot. I really like that. That's something that bums me out. I would have totally done that on the real mix if I had this plugin. That's really cool. And again, we're gonna go in with an additional instance of ControlHub and just factory default. And we'll go, let's grab something a little bit dirtier and dirty up this guitar sound a little bit to just add a little bit of saturation. Let's go into, let's see. Ooh, Fairchild tone. Yeah, in my opinion, ControlHub just shines on captures like this of gear. It's just, it adds this density that that is kind of indescribable, but it's like, you know, before you have it muted and you're like, yes, that's a good guitar sound. And then you unbypass the plugin and it's just better. You're like, wow, it's more dense, but it's not being compressed. It just sounds bigger, fuller, and more harmonically complex, which I just love it. Let's go to the chorus.
Do you know me? Really know me? Or am I a stranger in your house? I want you to love me without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, that really does it. Yeah, this one for me has beaten the original mix. Really, really good. All right, and that wraps up another episode of the Mix Creative series. Thank you so much for joining me again. If you have any questions about recording or mixing acoustic guitars or anything that I talked about today, feel free to drop them in a comment below, and I'd love to get back to you on that. Also, make sure that you like this video and subscribe to the STL Tones YouTube channel to stay up to date on all of the awesome content that they have coming. Yeah, there's a lot coming. I can't talk about it. We can't talk about it yet, but we will be talking about it pretty soon. So stay tuned. This is a monthly series that I do as well. So yep, there will be another one in a month. So I guess I'll see you then.